to Book 101 Review. Book 101 is all about the books that I've read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. She is a debut author and the author of the book Magnetic SF. No other than Miss Lisa Tholen. Welcome, Miss Lisa on Book 101 Review. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I miss?
Hello, hello. My name is Lisa. Very nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yes, and welcome on Book 101 Review. So tell us, let's talk about your debut book. The subtitle of your book is incredibly relatable. No degree, no plan, no self worth. Can you take us back to the moment just believe the spark? What did the rock bottom truly feel like?
Rock bottom. I was 23, 24 years old in Santa Barbara, California, and I was working at a real estate firm and was taking classes here and there and feeling very down about myself. And I was working in a real estate and at a company in Montecito, California, which is near Santa Barbara. And I literally had about $100 left in my bank account. And I went and got my hair done. Like I spent my last $100 on my hair, which is hilarious because that's what us girls will do to look good. So I figured that was the best thing to do to make myself feel a little bit better. So I went to go get my hair done. And when I got there, I saw this for sale signs. It was this beautiful ocean view property in a place called Summerlin, which is next to Santa Barbara. And I got my hair done, it just hit me. I left the place. I went back to the real estate place, and I said, "I'm gonna buy that building." And everybody laughed at me. They just said, "What are you talking about? You have no money." And I'm like, "I don't care. I'm gonna figure it out." So I figured it out. I went and I immediately looked for investors and figured out at 24 how to buy a $1.16 million piece of property with other people's money, essentially. Um, and then there was two properties on it actually. So there was the a business, and then there was another uh, actual building, home. And so I went through the whole loan process, and that was the beginning of the little bits of believing in myself and just going full bore and figuring stuff out, and not letting things keep me down. So that was just the beginning of it. And it just started from there. Little by little, I had 13 employees, 13 people working there. And it was an incredible experience, to say the least. That was my college. That's the way I like to look at it.
So, what is the spark or the initial knowing you mentioned? What is a sudden bolt of clarity or a slow simmering feeling that finally boiled over?
You mean during that time or when I decided to write my book?
Yes, what was the spark? Yes, when you
When I decided to write
finally,
it?
yes.
Years later, because there was so much between then and moving to Europe, and my book really talks about it. The book is not necessarily, it's a little bit of a biography, a little bit of a, it's really anchored, geared towards women for the most part. Being in sales, in a man's world, sales is very much a male dominated industry. And I've had struggles along the way, through that, and again figuring myself out, figuring it out, moving to Europe, and then coming back, being in sales, and starting to dominate more and more and more, being authentic and being myself, and just not needing all the things that people think that they need, to shine, and just to be yourself. And I started just rising, higher and higher. And then this last, I guess last spring, I was driving my daughter to a volleyball game, and where I was driving her to Vegas, and it just hit me. It just literally hit me. It was like getting hit with a ball in my stomach. I was like, "Oh, I have to write about this." And that's how it literally happened. It hit me like that. There was nothing else that made me think of it other than driving along. I'm like, I have to do this. I need to give the women out there the courage to let them know that anything's possible, to understand that even if you don't have a degree, because I've always felt really yucky about myself because my dad went to Princeton, my brothers are lawyers, and I just have always felt less than. And so I'm like, you know what? And we've had some tragedy in our family. And I just figured I needed to share, I needed to share my experience, and to let the women know that it's okay, to, to push forward, because anything's possible.
Anything is possible for sure. And how do you learn to trust the spark, especially when you had no plan and the external evidence was not there to support it?
That's where the internal sort of knowing and the mantras and the just it really having that self knowing that you are worth it, and reminding yourself of that. Nobody knows you're going to make it. No, I didn't know. I had no idea, but I was like, I have to do this. There was a feeling that there was no going back, and there was no not writing this book. There was just, it was just something that I had to do.
Mm, definitely. The word magnetic is central to your title. What does being magnetic mean to you, and how it is different from the mainstream idea of manifesting?
Okay. So my whole life, people have always said, you just are, they've always told me that I'm magnetic. And I'm like, I didn't believe it about myself, right? I mean, this is my whole, I made some poor decisions when I was younger. I went through some very hard things in my early 20s. And I just simply didn't believe it about myself. But I enjoyed the human connection. And people would always tell me that they appreciated me looking in their eyes and being interested in who they are as human beings, and told me how magnetic I was. And I just didn't believe it until last spring. I started like, oh, maybe I am. All right. I've done so well. I've risen to the top in sales and medical aesthetics. I had no idea what I was doing. Again, just like when I bought that property and when I ran the business, I had no idea what I was doing. I moved to Europe after that. I set up distribution throughout Europe, Middle East, and Africa. No idea what I was doing. I was like, wait a minute, I figured out all those things. All right, I can figure this out. But the magnetic part, people had just been telling me that all along the way, and I was like, okay, all right. And I started believing it. And as I was on the brink of turning 50, yes, I just turned 50 in June, which that was a big turning point for me. That was a part of it. As I was looking towards that 50th birthday, I was like, you know what? I think this is a perfect time. I have two daughters, and I was like, this is a really good point to write a book, and to dedicate this to my mom, who's been there for me through everything, and to my two daughters, to leave this kind of legacy for them, and letting them know that anything is possible as women in this world. And it's not an easy place to be, but it's it's anything is possible, like I said, and I wanted my daughters to know that.
You openly talk about starting with no self worth. What was the first most crucial step you took to begin rebuilding your sense of worth from the ground up?
Building my sense of worth from the ground up. Well, I guess little wins by little wins, a little tiny, like, okay, that worked out. Okay. And it doesn't mean it was easy, the whole time, right? Like there was difficult things, but as everyone knows, you know, difficult things makes us grow. And it gave me more and more courage, and the realization that there really is, there's a lot of hard things in life. And it's just about going back to that. Okay, I believe it. I'm going to do it.
You can do it. For sure, Miss Lisa, you did it.
I did
Many,
it.
yes, you did it. You did it. Many people feel trapped by not having the right degree or credentials. How do you reframe your identity from what you lack to what you inherently possess?
This self there's been this like background of self-loathing because of the lack of degree, because of my family and how much so accomplished my family is. And so uh this was a part of getting past that and over that feeling. And even just winning award after award after award after award and being top rep, top rep, top rep. And I still, like I said, just until last spring when I was driving along, I'm like, well, actually, I am a badass. Okay, I'm a badass. Like I didn't really truly believe it until last spring. And I was like, I'm turning 50. I've done all this. I'm doing this. You know what? Really, I mean, it really didn't come to that. And the reason I wrote this was to tell the ladies and the women of today's world, especially in a world of social media and that we're constantly having to compare ourselves and just all of the stuff. I want people to know that they don't have to wait till they're 50 to figure it out and have that feeling about themselves. And that's why I created what I created with the magnetic method, and why I teach women how to do and feel, learn the confidence and learn to be magnetic. That's what it's called, the magnetic method.
Magnetic indeed. And how does the inner critic or the voice of self doubt sounds like when you are in the verge of a big leap? And what's your strategy for quieting it?
Strategy for quieting it. Strategy for quieting the what? I
The
didn't quite
big,
understand that.
your inner critic.
Oh gosh, my inner critic, my my damn inner critic. we
True.
have we all have inner critics, and they never go away. They're like this little tick 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 on our shoulders, and we're like,
Yes.
shut up, no, bye bye. It's just something you listen to. Okay, I recognize you. I'm not listening to you today because I know what it takes, because it is a decision. You can choose to listen to it. And that's something I've learned in my old age. Um, you can choose to listen to it or not. And that's really what it comes down to. And that's what I want these women to know is that it's there. It's always going to be there. It's never going to go away. I still have it. And it comes and it starts creeping in. I'm like, nope, thank you. Bye bye.
See you nowhere.
Yeah, bye-bye. Nope,
Bye bye.
you're not coming in. Nope.
Definitely. So, was there a specific moment when or where you realized that your perceived liabilities were actually becoming your greatest strength?
Oh, gosh. I mean, and I think this word is kind of overused, um, being authentic and the authenticity. I don't want to overuse it because it is such an important word, right? Like, I don't want people misuse it and overuse it, but it truly something that is an absolute essential and critical thing in today's world when so many things are not authentic with AI and all the crap out there, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it's something that has helped me excel, uh, because I will never not be authentic. I will never not be myself. I'm definitely guilty of oversharing at times, but I'm myself, and I feel like it's so important to truly connect with people and be yourself. Like I have no interest in not having a conversation with somebody and not being real. When I go and I sell something, it has nothing to do with the product, right? Of course, I have to believe in what it is that I'm selling, but I have to know that I'm bringing that human being value and being authentic in what I am bringing to them. I won't say anything, I won't sell anything that I don't believe in. And so it's it just has to be there. I and I want people to know to really believe that and remember that, because in today's world there's just so much that brings us away from that and is trying to um, just put inauthentic, if that's a word, I'm not sure, inauthentic things in our brain and in front of us. And it's just this constant in your face. But I just feel like authenticity is just absolutely essential in today's world, especially.
Magnetic as F suggests a powerful energy. What are some daily or weekly non negotiable practices that help maintain that magnetic energy, especially on bad days?
Oh my gosh. This is something that's relatively new in the last, since last spring, when I was driving and I was like, you know what? It is a choice. Remember, I was talking about it being a choice. So every morning and every night, even if it's for 2 minutes, even if I'm like, I'm in a rush, I got to get out of bed and I do this, I'm like, nope, I got to get back to bed. And I lie there and I decide that today is going to be a good day. And then I decide, all the things that I want to have happen in that day. And the same thing goes for the evening. So that's a absolutely non-negotiable practice for me now. Uh, because the busy life, because of the crazy world, because of all the things, I know now that when you believe, when you truly believe, people, it's again overused when you say, oh no, you can't just say, I believe it. Like you actually have to believe it. Like you have to believe it. And when you believe it and you will it to yourself, like you have to make the steps in order to get there. But it is powerful. It's really, really powerful if you can do that. And that's part of the practice that I do today and every day, in the evening and in the morning, to prepare myself for this crazy world that we have, and to face it every day.
To face it for sure. And can you share a specific example of synchronicity or unexpected door that opened once you made the internal shift and started operating from that place of knowing?
Oh my gosh, it's crazy how powerful it is. It is incredible. The littlest things. I was like, okay, money is coming. More money is coming. One of my mantras, more money is coming. Money is
Yes.
coming. More and more money is coming. More and more money is coming. It's flowing towards me. It's happening. On its way. I see it. I visualize it. I actually picture my bank account with a certain period of, amount of money. Um, and I do very well for myself and my work. And then things just start happening. Just things start happening without me. I've created an amazing network because I'm a good person and I take very good care of my people and my clients. But things start happening. Things
Mm.
truly start happening. I'll get a phone call like, "Oh, I want to buy a laser." Okay, that doesn't happen very often because this is not an easy industry to be in. I'm in medical aesthetics. So things start happening when you start believing. It is that simple. I mean, there's not much to it, right? I mean, if you truly believe, like, it's such an, again, overused comment, if you truly believe. But there's work around that and all the things that I've done and all the things like, okay, no, this is happening. This is happening. This is happening. Like I will it to me. I talk about it. It's like you actually have to move with it too. And when you exercise, the energy of that also helps too. So it just things start happening if you start actually believing.
Believe in yourself, people, that you will earn lots of millions of money. put that in your mindset, just like
Yes.
mine. So, Miss, what are your short term and long term goals as a debut author?
Uh, you know, you asked me that question if I'm going to write another one, and
Yes.
I really hadn't, don't haven't planned on it. And now that I'm sitting here talking to you, I'm like, this is another one of those things. Like, all right, well, in a couple years, I probably will, knowing me. Um, when I set my mind to something, just like when I was 24 years old and people laughed at me and said, "You don't have any money." I'm like, I don't care. I'll figure it out. You just,
Yes.
I have no, when I set my mind to something, I go after it. I'm also pretty competitive. I'm the youngest of five. And from a very, very young age, my brother, who actually now has passed, I talk about that in my book, and had some pretty major tragedy in my family. He and my brother, well, my brother and his little girl drowned, and he was the brother that taught me I taught me how to throw a spiral football when I was age 3, but I was the youngest of 5, so I was constantly competing to get the attention, and it was just one of those things. I think that helped me tremendously to have a big family and constantly just go after it. So to answer your question about the being an author and what I'm going to do, it's very, very possible that I will follow this up with something else, knowing me.
Well, good luck to your goals and looking forward for more success, Miss Lisa. And what would be your piece of advice for those people out there who want to be like you?
I wouldn't say I want anyone to be like me. I want people to be like them, and that's the key. I want them to remember that they have the magnetic energy within them, and to all they have to do is reach for it, and to remember that they can find it. And as long as they believe it about themselves, it comes out. And all of that brings success with it. Success on every level, not just money, about business, just in relationships and family. It's I want people to remember that they have the magnetic energy within them. And that's what I want to draw out in the women that I teach, because I just don't want them to forget that they have it too, like I did for so many years.
Well, thank you for that advice, Miss Lisa. And before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season. Abstract poetry in second season. And my book 101 review in fifth season too. Comedy 101 in second season. My food 101 in fifth season as well. Geography 101 in fourth season. My baby podcast, Law 101 and Mental Health 101. Love that is in third season. And Movie 101 Review, Music 101 in fourth season. And Science 101 and Sex 101 in its first season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Miss Lisa, finishing a book is a huge milestone. What has this process of writing and sharing your story taught you about yourself that you don't know when you are started?
Well, something that I was always embarrassed, like I said, about not having the degree, and having that self-loathing. This is a big milestone for me to actually put that on the front of a book. I have never wanted to admit to it. It's something that when my dad passed, he died 4 months after my brother and my little niece, and uh, I I it was something that was not easy to not easy to admit. And so this is a big milestone for me to actually have it on the front of a book. And that was a massive thing. It's not something that I wish, it's something I do wish that I finished. I wish I had finished school, uh, but now I'm not I don't feel like embarrassed to talk about it. I'm like, actually, I'm a badass. I've done a lot of things in my life. I've been very, very successful. And yes, I wish I had gone back and done that, but this is my life path. This is who I am. And this is what I chose to do, and I'm going with it, and I'm at this point, this is my path. And so I want, again, other women out there who have the same or similar kind of background and path to know that they anything is possible again. And the milestone was to actually have that on the front of the book and admit to it.
Well, Miss Lisa Tholen, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. Hoping for more and more empowering books like this to come. So can you please invite our listeners to support your debut book or your business or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
Well, I right now Amazon on Kindle. This is available, and in a few days it'll be available everywhere else. But you can visit my website, magneticmethodhq.com, and see what else I have. I do sales mentoring for women, and so I teach clinics how to sell and talk about value and not just look in people's phones, and teach women how to really connect with people and succeed in what they're trying to do in their sales uh, endeavors.
Miss Lisa, thank you so much for your time. And yes, people, let's support Miss Lisa Tholen because if you support her, for sure, more and more empowering books like this to come, more and more empowering advocacy to come. So, Miss Lisa, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. It's been fun.
Yes, indeed. More to come, people. See you soon.